I'm curious to know, because you said that you were not out when you were filming this movie. How did you feel accepting a role that was sort of ambiguous in that territory like you were describing?
I liked the fact that it was honest portrayal, like that it wasn't frosted tips on his hair. He wasn't like, you know, yes girling all over the place. It wasn't a yesification of a role. Like, and I even understood what that was before we were in this period of like LGBTQ, almost like exploitation sometimes. Like, but I feel like at this point, it, you know, the other characters I read, I never wanted to play gay for gay's sake or fat for fat's sake. Like if it was part of a character's journey that they were fat or part of their character's journey that they were gay, then I was like fine with it. I wasn't like anti-gay roles. And obviously this opportunity to be with SNL people, these geniuses, and like, I mean, oh my God, how exciting, right? But I like, I still was nervous, but I was like, this pushes the envelope. I could see even then that this character was something, no one ever said anything bad to me, never got pushed in a locker. I never got called anything in that movie that I would be embarrassed to be called, except for maybe too gay to function.
This is Damien. He's almost too gay to function.
And it was a betrayal of a friendship. There was a really powerful thing behind that. And it was also an insult.
I think that's that kid Damien.
Yeah, he's almost too gay to function.
That's funny. Put that in there.
You know, they even bleep it out on network TV. They bleep out because it's a trigger, because it's an insult to say that. So other than that one thing, and he was included in the main storyline with that, I think that was a great plug-in. Damien was able to breathe, something that I felt like I couldn't always do. And it's so shocking to my friends and family to hear that I felt that way, because I was like the president of the drama club and I was outgoing. You know, it's always the ones that are doing the most that may not be okay. Yeah. And I was walking through the halls like president of this club, doing homecoming hall. I was the mascot of my high school. I did the morning announcements. But inside, I felt like I was ducking a baseball bat or something all the time, walking down certain hallways, or the way I had to react or I had to interact with my peers. You know, it's unfortunate because for me, like when I was 21, I put myself into conversion therapy.
No, you did not.
Yes, I had gay accepting parents. I had two gay uncles who had separate rooms and seemed to be like side A gay Christian, which means like they don't sleep together. There's a side A and a side B of the gay Christian world. And then like, I had lesbian relatives that everybody loved and was at every wedding, and they sat together and everything. Didn't really like dance together. They were never called a couple, even though their names would be on the same card. I say lovingly tolerated is how it was in my family. But it was the world around me. It was growing up in Florida, where now we have this Don't Say Gay bill. It was growing up in these environments where other people's parents taught their kids the wrong thing because they learned the wrong thing. Like, it was in that environment that made me feel like being gay was not okay, that it wasn't something that I could be.
You did, or you tried to put yourself in conversion therapy?
No, I did. It was an accident. Conversion therapy didn't really have a name. You know, it was like reparative therapy. They had different names for it. That's the thing that's so screwed up, is that like, it depends on what company or church or whatever you want to call it is doing that. Like, you know, what the definition of it is. So for me, I needed help. I didn't want to be gay. I didn't know what to do. My grandma was like, let me talk to the pastor. I said, yes. And the pastor said, I'm not really an expert on this, but someone actually just came in here and gave me this card. Why don't you give them a call? And then that card was a therapist. So I went to one-on-one therapy sessions with a person who was trying to change me straight and make me pray the gay way and alienate all my allies. And it was like a brainwashing thing. And it was like 6 months of like me, like going, wait, what? Like, and trying to figure it out. You know, and like my mom, who has always been so supportive. I mean, I still remember to this day, her letting me have white Care Bear skates when I was a kid, because like all the boys in Brooklyn had like black skates and all the girls had white skates. I didn't even clock that. And then I was like, Care Bears, love them, need it. And she was like, all right. and then like I was out there skating and everyone's like, why do you have white skates? You know, it's that whole thing. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I look and I'm the only boy in white skates and my heart's like in my throat, you know, like this first grade memories. And my mom, you know, literally was like, let him have whatever the hell he wants. The skates, who gives a crap? Like, and that attitude is kind of how I lived my life, you know? But I still felt something was wrong about me. And when I was in this session, they told me to tell my mom that my mom was the reason that I was leaning towards bisexual thoughts or whatever, because she was too open. And they made me come out to my mom, who was literally like my best ally, and say, it's your fault.
And is that when you sort of had your this isn't for me moment?
Well, no, her and I didn't talk for like 2 months, and I tried to figure out like what the hell. That's the longest I never went. My mom was like my best friend. I mean, literally, like I play her, and you know, it's all my stand-ups about her. We didn't talk for 2 months, and it's crazy to me, you know. And she was so hurt, and we've talked about it, and it brought me back to her, you know. I mean, we realized, you know, I was in the session with the guy. It's kind of vulgar, but I was like scared. He's like, what are you afraid of? And I was like, I'm afraid I'm gonna go to hell. And he was like, you could be, and he said like S and a D. He was like, and the second coming of Christ could happen. And you're not gonna go to hell if you love God. Like, you know, that's not what it is. And I'm like, it's not? And he was like, no. And he was trying to free me. And he goes, look, I was telling my wife. And I go, your wife? Because he was so gay. He was like, I was telling my wife, like totally stereotypical, like gay.com.org.edu. Like, it was like, I was like, I didn't know if I was gay. I was looking for a diagnosis, but this dude was gay. And he goes, oh, I used to be gay. And I'm like, used to be gay? You can't used to be gay. And he was like, yeah. He was like, I was like, I gotta go.